Somebody said early on that Squid Games was based on real events. And I need proof. Dude, I love Mr. Ballin, goated. He's a good friend of mine. I actually really like him. He's just such a beauty, really hard worker, and he's done so well with telling stories. I think we should watch John's.
Mysterious, delivered in story format.
All right, John, let's see it.
Come to the right.
The Debt Game? Is that what it was originally called?
One afternoon in 2009, a 38-year-old man was sitting inside of a manga cafe in Seoul, South Korea. So a manga cafe is a lot like a normal cafe. You can go inside and buy snacks or drinks and socialize, do whatever. But also in manga cafes, like
A normal cafe, did that not just have beds in it? Am I tripping, or were there like Netflix beds there? Did you see that? That's actually crazy. That is not like a normal cafe. Dude, if there were cafes like that, I'd just be in there sleeping all day long. If you gave me a bed with a blackout curtain like that, and I'm assuming they got a TV in there with Netflix. Bro, they'd have to wake me up at closing. They'd be like, sir, you can't just live here. You gotta go. This is a cafe.
Now,
okay,
this
nice.
man did not have a lot of money. He just went up to the in-store library, grabbed an edition of his favorite manga series, and just sat down and began to read.
Don't tell me someone like came up to him at the cafe and then, Squid Games began. But the second that John said that he didn't have a lot of money, I already know where this is going. Please don't let it be the real thing. Because if this is actually based on true events, I'm done.
In fact, it was so crazy, this series, that every time he read it, it allowed him to sort of leave his life for a second and just totally escape into this wild, violent story.
He's going to
And
leave
right
his life,
now,
all
in this
right.
man's life, because his real life was pretty terrible.
Why does that look like the literal main character of Squid Game? Am I tripping, or does that look exactly like the lead character from Squid Game? That's actually creepy.
He had spent practically his whole life studying and working to try to become.
Did they base it off of like him, like the actual character? Because his hair and everything was like similar.
He found himself back in the same position he always was in, which was unemployed. At the moment, this man lived with his mother and his grandmother. But even though all three of them were pooling their resources, they still struggled to just pay for rent. In fact, recently, the man had to sell his laptop, the thing he used for all of his writing. It was like how he was going to eventually crack a career in entertainment.
Dude, I'm actually getting chills right now. I'm actually getting chills right now. Because if oh my God. Oh my God, wait, that actually just hit me.
The man had also begun taking out all these short-term loans with high interest rates just to pay for basic needs. Forget rent, like just food and basic necessities he was taking out loans for.
Oh no,
but he had no
dude.
way to pay. And the only way he could find to even begin to cope with it was to escape into his manga books.
I feel like that's like everybody. We all kind of have that to a degree. When just things aren't going well, there's like this comfort thing that you go to. Like gaming was that thing for me. I never really got into reading. And then even TV, I never watched TV shows really. I know a lot of people like go deep into series and like will spend a lot of time watching TV, but it's crazy when you hear stuff like that. And then if this is going to go down the route of him being in this debt games, it's like, it's crazy how similar we all are. And his led him to, I never been led to the debt games based on being in a bad position or whatever, or like being down and out, but
And so as he was reading this manga book, he suddenly has this epiphany. What if I write a story that's sort of,
survival of the fittest, or so we like to believe. 42 compete until a winner is determined. Is this the manga book, or is this what he was writing? Oh, real page from the manga. Hello! Read all the font!
And so before long, he had put the manga book aside, got a pen and some paper, and just began writing down some ideas, general ideas for this new story he was going to try to write. And he just knew this was the one. This was the thing that was going to break him out of poverty and officially make him a successful writer.
So he wrote the Squid Games? This guy wrote the Squid Games? The start and the finish, two places you really don't want to be. Going first in a life or death contest, very scary. This is some concept art here, yep.
Several months later, this man had transformed
But recall to that in the first game, so this guy wrote it.
Into a fully realized project, and then he went out to try to sell it. And he's thinking, everybody's gonna want this thing. This is like an iconic, unique piece of IP. People are gonna be clamoring to buy this.
I mean, he wasn't wrong, dude. It ended up being one of the biggest series of all time. That was a huge idea.
But what he found very quickly is every buyer he went to hated it. And the man was sort of crushed Because to him, it was so clear. This is an amazing idea. This story is so good.
I gotta just give flowers to John, Mr. Ballin. The guy is just so captivating. He's got me. He's got me in a grip. I have to tell him. You know what I mean? I don't think I've ever even told him how fabulous he is. Okay, back to it.
People that have experienced real poverty, who understand the lengths that people will go to make money when they're desperate, they'll relate to this. Like, there's a huge audience for this. But
And
the
there
buyers,
was.
They didn't see it that way. And so for the next 10 years, this
You got 5-year-olds now playing it on Roblox. You got the 5-year-olds out there.
I know this game. I hope I get the triangle. Hey, push him on red light. Push him on red light so he dies.
It may be reached a little too many people.
10 years later, a major production studio
Yep.
actually said, you know what? This looks pretty good. And when this TV show aired, it was basically a global phenomenon overnight. It became the most talked about show anywhere in every corner of the internet pretty much immediately.
Okay, I'm not looking for spoilers, but like we're 6 minutes in, there's still 20 minutes left. We're talking about the sale of the show now. In this juicy next 20 minutes, they're going to talk about it being connected somehow? John's going to talk about it being connected somehow to like a real event type thing? Is that?
It also made the production company that bought this story $900 million.
Oh my
and the man
God!
who actually wrote the story, he also got paid very well, and he won an Emmy. The manga series that this man read that sort of inspired all of this to happen was called Battle Royale.
Wow.
And in this series,
no.
these students are forced to fight to the death by a fascist government. And so what this man did is he combined that
It's like Hunger Games.
and he knew firsthand, the lengths he was willing to go just to make a little bit of money to make ends meet. And he knew other people who, were dealing with poverty were also sort of desperate.
Wow. Okay, wait a second. Okay, so that was there real life Squid Games? Was it this?
This is a movie, and this is real life.
Did you know that a concentration camp called the South Korea's Holocaust or the real life Squid Games area actually existed?
Wait,
and this
what?
is hopefully the last known dark camps, at least in South Korea.
Pineapple Girl, you said yes, there's a place somewhere. What do you mean there's a place somewhere? I know you guys saw this on TikTok somewhere, dude. Let me find out that you saw a clip on TikTok.
But one day in 1982, it was getting late and Tong never returned home. He was at the arcade room and it was such a great day for him until the neighborhood man just left him alone for a second when two policemen approached him and asked him, "Why are you here? Are you alone?" The policeman told him, "Come with us to the police office. We're going to take you home." From then on, time to time, children would just go missing, vanished.
Oh my God, tell me they were like kidnapping them and putting them into some freaking games.
Her little brother and herself were out, and again, the police would approach them and they just followed. They told them that they would take them home, and as soon as they...
Tell me the police were involved. Rather, all the most like corrupted stories you ever hear, and then like there's somehow a police association. They were corrupt and they were involved in a horrible way.
These kids were then forced into the dark van with no explanation, and they realized they weren't alone. There were many other kids and adults and people just mixed, shoved into this tiny van. From here, this is when hell started. Of course, if not all, like a lot of the kids were screaming.
There is history that I've been more wanting to get deeper into history because I didn't really take it seriously in school. There's history, and I'm sure a lot of us are ignorant to this. There is history that we have there are things that have happened that we have no idea about. And we're over here watching a TV show being like, oh, it's a great TV show. Meanwhile, there's people that
crying and
really
telling them like, where am I want to go home. But the minute you would cry, question, or complained, it was enough to fit at least from 80 to 100 people. Like, again, do you see like a little bit of the coincidences? Even more shockingly, they noticed that everybody was wearing the same uniforms, and the uniform color was blue.
Was it like a military project? Because this feels like they're like they were kidnapping people and then like put it like trying to recruit people, and obviously taking kids, it's like you can brainwash them and put them through all this stuff. But like, this feels like it was like
stripes on it. They were also forced to shave all their heads. Nobody can have long hair. And they were stripped of their name and their identity. Now they were being...
What?
And at 5 a.m. sharp, the alarms started to ring.
That just scared the absolute heck out of me. I thought that there was something going off. I thought the fire alarm was going off.
When they went outside, those new kids, new people that arrived were so shocked. Because it wasn't just them here. It was literally thousands and thousands of people with the same uniform.
This is Squid Games. Are you kidding me? They're literally wearing the same jumpsuits. Same color. I wonder if they took inspiration from this for like the wardrobe.
They realized it wasn't just kids, but mix of adults, including elders. And these are some real photos of how these camps look like. I mean, it's legit straight out of a horror movie. Like,
yeah, like look at the jump.
The same.
They had to have taken inspiration from that, because like those are literally the exact same jumpers that they were wearing.
These buildings were also barricaded by high.
You know what always blows my mind? Who built these buildings? Like, this is such a random building. Who built this building? Who was like, yep, we got this. We got the plans to build this, and this is what the purpose is, and we're going to build it in the middle of nowhere in this mountain. Like, who went and built this? This is like some serious infrastructure. Like, look at the size of these buildings. You know when you see those castles that are like on top of a mountain, literally like on the edge of a mountain, giant castle from God knows when, the 1800s, early 1900s, like, who built that? Who built it? And with what?
And you would literally have to go hunting or know the forest area in order to catch this place. The crazy thing is,
dude.
This area was like a little town. They had factories, a church, schooling, a barber place, and even like a bathing area.
They for sure 100% were inspired by this. 1000%.
They also received this one clothing to wear throughout the whole year. Now, these people's daily task was to do pretty much forced labor throughout the whole day. And you're having kids like work in these complicated jobs.
Like, what was the purpose of it? What was the purpose of all of this? You're kidnapping people to make them do all this. Is it just like, I wonder what they thought the outcome was going to be. Because clearly this didn't work out in their favor.
Chung remembers at the end of the day, if you do not meet the production quantity that they assigned to you, everybody would again get severe punishment. He remembers his
Jesus. That's actually crazy.
place was called Hyungjae. What is this random hell place? Why were all these people being gathered? Was it really like for fun and games? And why did no one know about it or try to save these people? So it turns out this place was called Hyungjae Bokjiwon, or Brothers Welfare Center.
The Brothers Welfare Center? Don't think that's what it was.
It was supposed to be known to gather homeless people, people who didn't have a place to go, like didn't have families, aka people who were deemed unfit for society. It was advertised on TV as this amazing place that the government gave as a second chance for those who had no homes. But 70% of these people that were put into these camps weren't people who were just homeless.
It's crazy because that's kind of like the plot of Squid Games. You know, like it's your opportunity to you get a second chance at a fortune and a completely different life, but at what cost? And that's what this is like. It's like, okay, yeah, you were homeless or unfit for society, and they were going to give you this second chance, but at what cost? They literally enslaved these people and kept them in a enclosed place to do, I guess, work for whoever was running it. Doesn't sound like a second chance, but it's crazy. That's kind of, they had to have been inspired by this. Like, the writer of Squid Game definitely had to have some idea of like what kind of stuff was going on here, because even down to wardrobe. I mean, like this is,
they were like,
it's literally the stripe down the pants and the stripe down the shirt. Crazy. Wow. That's actually crazy.
and these victims say that they were being preached about how this was what God has commanded.
Wow. Okay. That's crazy. So if that's basically what real life Squid Games was based on, loosely or almost, like, that's crazy. Because that's like pretty close, minus the games part. Obviously, they in Squid Games it was gamified. My God, there's so many other series and stuff too. I'm sure that like are strongly or loosely based on like some. I need to pay more attention to that. I need to know like when I'm watching stuff, what stuff is depicted on based on history and stuff that's happened. Yeah, that's crazy, Caitlin. It's actually crazy.